Welcome back to Force Episode 3, titled Firestarter. Force is a show that airs on Star Sundays at 7 p.m. And as of today, I will be reviewing again Episode 3, titled Firestarter. Who's starting the fire? And who's ultimately going to put the fire out? Those are all of the things that we should be thinking throughout this review while you hear the various plots. There's a fire that is being ignited, and therefore it's very, very important. Great takeaways. Alright, so the scene opens up with Tommy visiting Liliana, which was the ending of episode 2. So episode 3, it opens up where he's still in the house with Liliana, and they're having a quarrel, their scuffle and things like that. And so at the end of episode 2, he kicked the floorboard on accident, in fury, and it actually knocked in the floorboard, and he was able to see there and then that there were drugs down there, namely cocaina. And so so during their little scuffle, he had her in a position where she understood, do not try to, fight back. It is what it is. Stay put it or whatever. So once he kicked the floorboard in and he could see the cocaina, he said, man, where you get this from? It's like 10 of them in here, and I know they're going for 30K a pop. That's 300,000. Ain't nobody finna just let you walk away in any deal situation or whatever without coming back to get you and to get their product. So yeah, that is true. That's a huge loss for someone, but yet she has it, and she has them hitting. Now Liliana is a character in the original Power series where Ghost was alive. The introduction to the Power universe where Ghost was alive and Tommy was his right hand man, and Liliana was more like an errand girl, but some way or another she's in Chicago. So that's a great takeaway that we need to pay very close attention to with her, because she just pops up in Chicago. He flees to Chicago. It's just too much of a coincidence. However, she does have some product, and he again asked her about it, and he knew on each of the bricks, is what they call them, there was a card of a spider or a scorpion on top, and he reminisces on it to think like, dang, I know this emblem, this image, I've seen this before. And he asked her, and she failed to give, where she got it from, or did she steal it, or was it even his and Ghost? And so he just said, and so he was going to take it from her. But at that instant, Tommy knew, shoot, I know how she hustles. I know how she get down, man. I'm out here by myself. I need me a little sidekick. So, they discussed it and how to move it. And his thing was, we're going to get into some stuff together. Meaning, we're going to run these streets together. I'm going to put you to work. And then she replied, I'm always on the side of money. So, hey. Now he got him a little sidekick, to run around with, or whatever the case may be. But our attention should be held on Liliana in hopes that she doesn't fold or be a liability of some sort to his process. Now we're on to Vic. He's at the police station. Vic is the son of Father Flynn. Daddy Flynn. And he's bailing out Simon, Jimmy, and Brian. And he pays the bail to get them out, as well as some extras incentive to the person that worked there, because he has to get them out, and he needs her to get a move on it. And so, which equal to 10,000 in large. So once he leaves the police station, he's met outside with the police officer. I would think his name Bennigan, and he is there. And he sends Simon and them back to their vehicles because they're going to go get something to eat. But he has a small talk with Bennigan. Bennigan is the character that showed up to the barber shop that was talking to Diamond about I hear you back in town. And Diamond offered to give him a cut, and he said, no, I'm gonna pay. I pay like I wait when I need something. But he's that same African American cop that showed up there. So Vic knows him also. And so they have a discussion on, why do I have to pay to bail my people out and I'm paying you to help me out? So we know Bennigan, the black cop for this episode, until I get the name correctly, he works for Vic. And he helps Vic, gives him information or, whatever his little tasks are, and he pays him. But Vic doesn't understand, why do I have to pay you and you can't even stop something like this? And so they kind of, he kind of, lets him know, listen, I do what I can do, but you need to make sure you keep your people in line. And so he says, I'm doing everything I can. You got an alderman issue, not the police department issue. So that was a great takeaway there, that it's not the cops who is invading a situation, it's the county, it's the political aspect of it. Police departments are part of the executive branch. They carry out the laws. The politicians are part of the legislation, or they make the laws. They make things, they put things in place. And so, like he said, that's an alderman issue. That's not a police issue. That's where your problem is. And it appears that they were, I guess, just chilling somewhere, and all of a sudden they came in. So it's a bigger issue at hand, from my understanding. So Tommy takes Liliana with him, because remember, they were at her place. So he takes her to his place, which is at the fire station. Nice little, I can say it's a little incognito, inconspicuous spot. Who would ever think that someone lives above a fire station in a desolate area? And I'm assuming that this area is very close to the pier or some water, because we always find in the opening scenes that he's always leaning onto his car, overlooking a lake or a body of water, and you can always see the skyline. So he's way off in the cut. So that was a good place for him to move to. So he and Liliana, they go there, and he needs her to cut up the dope. Now, what's cutting? Cutting is when you take some dope and you add something to it to stretch it out, and to not make it as potent, and to stretch it, which means the outcome of the money can be potentially doubled, or how well you cut it. So she was an excellent person. Well, that's her little niche, pretty much. Liliana's niche is cutting it. You need to cut it. But anyway, not that cut it, but the other cut it. But she be cutting it. So, so she comes out of the restroom with just like a tank and some panties on. He was like, ho, 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 I don't want you. Like, I don't want you either. I don't do white boys. She said the name of the game is, when you're cutting, you got to take your clothes off. You don't never want any of that to get onto you. And I can bet that, just imagine with whipping and doing the things like that, and then to get on your clothes, and then, for instance, let's say you got to jump on the airport or get on the plane, and there's just our residue over you. I'm just naming some things, but for the most part, that is something that you cannot just have, because it's a powder, which means it can be blown here and there and ingrained into the fibers. So yes, she had to. So I guess, for what it's worth, that's what she needed to do. That's what she needed to do. Should have done. But it does make you wonder, where you're trying to be half naked so Tommy can see you, to, potentially kind of see how he moving or what he will and won't do. And so they began to compound the mixture. And she said, it's been a minute since I cut, but you need to watch and learn. Because Tommy said it's been a minute for him to cut. See, Tommy know how to cut it up too. Step on it, move and whip it up, and whoop, whoop. And then, so then she, while getting all of the materials for that, the ingredients, she asked about Ghost, and then that's when he made the statement that Ghost is not alive. And she asked him, did you do it? He was like, no, but I couldn't avoid it. So Liliana knows Ghost and mentioned him, and that's the first time that she's finding that he is deceased. And so, So once she cuts it, he suggests that they split it 70-30. She said 50-50. So that's kind of what they settled on, was the 50-50 of the profit, or however they're going to do it, but it's 50-50. So then the scene goes to Tommy meeting with his brother, JB, and he's asking, who's paying Miriam's bill? That's the grandmother that's in the convalescent home. And JB says, I don't know. You know, my father and I, we were away, and then we came back, and this is where she was, in the home. So that's unknown, and no, I don't know if she has her trust. So that was interesting. So I guess they haven't been around for quite some time. I don't know if that means they were in the city and just hadn't communicated with her, or if they were away, moved away, and then moved back. But he said once we returned back home, we found her there. And no, we don't know if she has a trust or not. Keep in mind, Kate, Tommy's mother, which is Miriam, the lady in the convalescent home, has a daughter who's in New York. Moving along, Jannard and Diamond, they're going onto in this open field to play baseball. So they're into baseball. Yes, they're into baseball. They play baseball. They have a conversation about the World Series at some point in time, and how Diamond did not get the chance to see it. And so they just chit-chatting about it, and how this and that. And then Jannard brings up the fact that he would like to buy some land and do some things to create a field for African American children in the community, so they can go to, just like those white kids out in Barrington. So Barrington, I guess, would be a more well-to-do area in comparison to the hood. And that's kind of what Jannard. So Jannard kind of wanted to put his money into something legit, which is called washing it, trying to, put it onto something. And so they're having this discussion about that. Also, in the midst of them, him pitching the ball and swinging and so forth, Jannard got something up his sleeve. He want to get to the bottom of something. Still fooling with that white boy. So we find that we know Jannard don't cut for Tommy. Okay? He don't want none of that. White boy, I don't know nothing about this boy. He just popped up on the scene. And I can understand Jannard. You gotta watch everything and everybody. And here he come pop up, and he's Caucasian. Now what's up with him? And then you all chummy with him, and I hate to see you just be gun-ho strong about someone that neither of us know, really. And he was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, I fooled with him with the woo. And he like, well, you know what? That's messed up, because Diamond says, because I gave you, Jannard, a seat in the CBI organization. And Jannard say, but I made you relevant. Now keep in mind, Diamond's been gone 15 years. Jannard does have a point. He's been holding it down. He's been doing everything that needs to be done to stay alive, to keep the name alive, and so forth. And therefore, man, you're going to have to respect me too now. You're going to have to respect my mind. So, there's a little dissension there amongst the two of them about who's going to kind of like make decisions. Who's the decision maker, and how are they going to be on one accord in the future with that? So moving along, they're back at Tommy's, and after they cut up some dough, they need to test the product to see if it's good. And I already know Tommy, he's too powder, do lines, however you want to call it, from Power, the original series. But so Liliana, she does it, and Tommy does it because they need to see if it's good. And she got it to her sweet spot. That's what she calls it. When it does very well, or she does a good job of cutting it and stretching it out, she calls it get it to that sweet spot. So yeah, it's clean, and she describes it as it's clean and fire. So he mentioned they began to look at like a map, and different areas. So this is another thing about Chicago. When you in Chicago, they see color. They see color. New York, they don't see color. Everybody move and groove. Everybody get money. No matter where you woo. And it kind of reminds me of some of these little issues that have been going on in the hip hop about the Latinas and things like that. They say they're black, but in certain regions of the United States, everybody don't consider everybody black. But in New York, they do. If you are Hispanic, you're Dominican, things like that. But for the most part, when money is to be made, ain't nobody seeing no one sees color. In Chicago, they do. So they were having a conversation about Tommy, different areas of the city where they could potentially do business, and she mentioned that CBI, which is Diamond and Jannard, but we know it was solely Jannard pretty much. Jannard owes her $8,000 because Liliana is someone who knows how to cut, which is a job in itself. That's a descriptor. That's a job right there, a whole job title. The person that can cut the dough. Everybody who buy brick, you can buy it, but now you need to cut it. You need somebody. So people pay people to do that just as much as people pay people to cook it up. Everybody don't know how to cut. Everybody don't know how to cook, and so she's kind of been outsourced already with CBI, and they didn't pay her $8,000. So she has history with CBI as well, and Tommy is saying that he's just trying to get him a pipeline in motion. So he gonna put her to work, and they gonna get it rolling. So now the scene goes back to so now we're at a scene where it's the Flynn family, namely Walter, Vic, and Claudia. And it appears they're at Claudia's place because it's the penthouse high rise. Real nice, cute place. And they have a conversation, and Vic is telling his father that they need someone on the inside because the cops are unable to do this and that, namely what Mr. Bennigan, the cop, was telling him. You got an alderman issue, which is a councilman, the political person, to deal with outside of the police. And so this is what Vic is trying to tell his father. We need an alderman to come in and to kind of assist with what we need. The cop can't do what's needed. And so the father, Flynn, tells Claude, pretty much, I'm going to schedule a meeting, or you're going to meet with an alderman, have a conversation with him, and speak to him about this and that, because we paying and this and that, we need to make sure. And so she was like, all right, word up. And then she walks away, and Father Flynn says, hey, and make sure you put some sugar on it. So basically, do whatever you need to do. Keep it cute even. Put some sugar on it. Make sure that alderman, yeah. So with that being said, so Claudia meets with him and they talk, and she says that we shouldn't have to pay our people to be bailed out. We'll have to leave to another area and to do other things, and he kind of bucks at her and tells her whatever, this and that. But what she does is she mentions his daughter that attends Sacred Heart, and how it would sure be a bad thing if your daughter's uniform get a little dirty. So from there, the alderman knows that she means business, and they have an agreement, and she attempts to leave the table, and she chunks him a white envelope, and so that would stop the jail time. And he had a tendency to know a little bit about her too. She has a little lesbian fling going on, and he trying to get a little nice nasty and bring up something about her being with a woman and eating this and that, and they both like the same thing. So that made me wonder, how are they trailing her? Is this something known, or is this on the low, or is this something that he did make mention that the two of them both like to eat vajayjay. And so that was an interesting part. I just didn't know if she was being surveilled and he knew that, or if that's a known thing that people know. But then she said something real nice, nasty back to him. So they had all that going on. But for the most part, it ended with him understanding that I got first dibs on you. I got a one up on you, and you need to do what you need to do for me. And she chunked him the money. So Vic bought Gloria. Remember the Gloria who's dating Tommy? Well, having little flings, and Vic is madly in love with her. Bought her mom a headstone because she hasn't had one. And I found there that her mother knew about them, and her mother gave them her blessing for marriage. So they have a deep connection with wanting to be together. But Gloria's like, man, you can't never be with me. Your dad and the family they're never going to agree to this. So we need to just face it. And of course, Vic is like, no, he's still trying to fight for it and for his love of her. So Tommy meets Flynn, and he's not to people who don't follow orders. He's looking for long money and business opportunities. And so they meet again at another pier, and they're having a conversation about, so pretty much, since Tommy has the dope, Tommy need to move the dope and make some money. That's why he asked Liliana where you get it from, because we still need to get some more. But Tommy got that connect down in LA, so I think that might be a way where he can still kind of re-up. But so he's meeting with Flynn, and Flynn's like, I told you to leave and this and this and that. What do you want? He said, I'm looking for some long money and business opportunities. And so Flynn, currently, the Irish Flynn family, they solely sell pills. Now my thing, I'm wondering, do they sell pharmaceutical pills, X pills, Molly pills? What kind of pills they selling? You know? And I know pills is a big, and it's a lot of money. Sure. To get a ten of a Percocet is $10, and it might be 15. But just to say, I just want to know, what is this? How is he getting his pills to where you got to go to the pharmaceutical? But anything can be done nowadays, child, especially with money involved. But anyway, the Flynn family, they hustle pills. CBI, the black crew, they hustle coke. So Tommy's trying to get them to get in business with the coke gang. But right now, CBI and the, we talking about the black gangs and stuff like that, and the Hispanics and stuff, that's they kind of market, But the Flynn family, so he wants to ask him if he can do this and that. And Mr. Flynn is like, come on now, that ain't what I do. And so Tommy being anxious to, just force him to do it or whatever. So he says that he would schedule a meeting. He'd try it out. So Walter, the father, he schedules a meeting for his son Vic and Tommy to go meet with this white guy to sell some dope. Come to find out, he hiding in the Cooter Brown. Girl on the floor, it's just all this loud music. I said, oh Lord, then he got these little escapades. And so the whole deal didn't go right. So here we go. This is the second deal Vic has gone on, and it ain't go right. So they worked it out where they had to off the white boy because he was high and cutting up, pulling out guns. They come to do a deal. It was just too much. And so all three of them left. Excuse me, the young lady, the security to the white boy, Tommy, and Vic. But Vic had to go on and knock him off. He had to go on and knock him off because it was just too much. It was too much and so forth. And like Tommy said, we got to make sure we do this right because we can't have a bunch of dead bodies in the middle of the day. So they go back to the Flynn family, to the Flynn house. And Walter's mad that there's a bad deal. Vic said we need to get up north and to bring Samson, which is Diamond, to the table. So everybody relates CBI to Diamond. Even Walter Flynn. We know he just got out of jail. People still have Diamond name. So, his name ring bells in the streets. And so, Tommy's trying to encourage, come on, man, that deal went bad. I'm trying to tell we just need to go on and do some dealings with with CBI. So he agreed, and so Tommy goes to the boxing rink area the rec center, and he propositions it. And at that instant, Jannard is there and some other little homies. And so Jannard is against it, Diamond is with it, and they agree to fight. Whoever wins, make the choice. So they do their thing, and of course, Diamond wins, which means they're going to meet with the Flynn family. So the next meeting is they do meet with the Flynn family. Tommy comes along and Diamond comes second, and they're just talking and trying to get some understanding about some things. But Mr. Flynn, he's reminiscent of a time when he feels CBI was responsible for injuring someone. And so by him remembering that, and the connection with the Irish family and the Polish family and things like that, he's like, and I guess everyone feels that they had something to do with the death or the injury of a particular person. Her face had to have like 50 some odd stitches and stuff like that. So he's lingering on and holding on to that, and I can understand that. So that's not real easy, just to be clicking up with some folks that you think are responsible for doing some things. So so that meeting did not go over well. Pretty much, it didn't go over well. And of course, Diamond let him know then that we did not have anything to do with that. Walter doesn't want to hear that. So Diamond exits, and the banter between Vic and his father is, if I fool with CBI against the Irish rules and principles and things, we will not be in good standing amongst the Irish, amongst the Italians, amongst the Polish. So that lets me know, jeez, they can't really get no real money, because they stuck on color. Man, Tommy, like, damn, and I already know how you feeling when you come from somewhere like New York. They don't see that everybody get money. Everybody trying to live. What they say, if you make it in LA, and if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Yeah, because they gonna get it by any means necessary. Sure. So that's a conflict right there. If we do business with them, we're going to have problems with our fellow other foreign families. So while they're leaving, and like I said, Diamond disagrees. He lets him know we didn't have anything to do with it. That was 20 years ago. I don't know what you're talking about. And he assures Tommy, we for real didn't have anything to do with that. And he insists. But once Diamond leaves and they leave out, come to find out they're being surveilled. Yes, there's someone out taking pictures from another vehicle and things like that. And so Tommy speeds off, and Claude end up kind of catching up to him, veering in front of him, causing him to press the brakes along this overpass of a highway. And she jumps out, and then that's when Claude can meet Claude meets Tommy personally, face to face, to have a conversation. And that's when she, pretty much just trying to tell her, I got something that kick your teeth in. You know what I'm talking about? And what she's referring to is what her girlfriend has given her on that episode 1, the dope that they were snorting. Come to find out, it's not even coke, it's something else that's manufactured to be just as good as that. And she's talking to her girlfriend about if she can get more and things like that. So since Claude wants to do her own thing, she want to hustle, she want to get into the game. She already know they need to do something different than pills too. Hell, she got a whole line on another issue. Daddy don't want to hear that. Walter Flynn don't want to hear that. So she feels and is going to take it amongst herself to hustle it on the side. And who she want to hustle it to? And with Tommy. So Tommy, she cuts him off. They both get out the car. He was finna fuss, and he's like, "That's you." Yeah. And so she presents that it's something that'll kick your teeth in, and it's also this and that. And he's like, "Daddy letting you you hustle this and that?" She was like, "No, he don't know nothing about this. This is mine." So here we go again. Tommy is able to peep and pick up on, dang, within the Flynn family, the father is fearful that, that he's saying one thing and his children are going against his will. Heck, Walter even down with me. Walter down with me and want to do what I want to do, and going against his father's will. Claude want to hustle her little product against her father's will. So there's a breakdown in the family, and that's gonna be big for Tommy. Tommy's gonna use that to his advantage. I just know he is. And so then in conclusion, Jannard is standing on this overpass as well with his friend. I think that may be Jeremiah, who's in his clique, the actual singer Jeremiah. And so they're kind of talking about how the fight went and how now Diamond is in leadership. He's in the leadership role. And so CBI is going to be split 50-50. That's what his partner telling him. He say, but if they all going to come to meet Jannard in the long run. So it make you wonder, what in the world does Jannard have up his sleeve? Jannard want to be the head. I already know. I mean, he been out there 15 years. Maybe they need to gradually pass it along or whatever. But so since he lost the fight, his partner told him, half of them gonna go fool with you and half gonna go with Diamond. He said, yeah, but in the long run, they all gonna come to me. So that concludes episode 3, Firestarter. So what is the fire? Who's starting the fire? Very, very interesting. I think maybe I would say the fire starter is the fight between Jannard and Diamond, and how now the leadership role has transitioned from one person to the next, and how that's going to ignite a blaze of fire because there's going to be dissension amongst the crews. In the midst of Tommy wanting to use CBI as a pipeline to hustle something, trying to make a connection with Flynn, but on the cool, the whole CBI situation is going to be in a disarray and soon. And we see Jannard already saying they're going to all fool with me in the end. It's just a big ball of confusion. And I just want Jannard to sit back and lay low, but he's a hothead. I see that sticking out. And then also another thing, Claude said with her friend, I can't believe that it took 3 trials for the FDA to realize that it was so close to cocaine. So yeah, this drug they got, I wonder what the name of it is, or do they just sell it as cocaine, or do they name it some special something for the streets, or do they come off as that? Because that's really interesting that it came 3 trials with the FDA. And I think it has something to do with diet pills too. So we'll learn more from that. Some of the expressive language that I liked this week was when Tommy was talking with Father Flynn of Walter Flynn, and he said, balls will get you in the door, but brains, what did he say? Balls will get you in the door, and brains will keep you in the room. Yes. Balls will get you in the door. Your attitude, your woo get you up in there. Then your brain is gonna keep you in the room. So I really like that figurative speech that they used this week with that one. Last week, what was the other one? That's why we can't have nice things. All right, again, thank you for joining me and watching Force episode 3. Next, we'll have the next new episode to be reviewed soon. Have a good one.